Hi there, this is Design Start, and today we are going to talk about scaling. So scaling is one of the recent features that Figma added, and let's start from this one. So let's take this group of objects and try to scale that. So how one scales the object? And there are multiple ways of doing that. For instance, if we're talking about the group, you can hold Shift and just go up and down with this, and it will be scaled proportionally without any problems. However, when you need to scale to a particular number, like scale it twice, 3 times, 4 times, or scale it by a particular value, you can do it slightly differently. So you select an object, and then you go to this part where it's move usually selected, but you can check it and change it to scale or press K otherwise. So here you can see that we have a scaling menu here where we can scale it by a particular pre-selected value, or we can make it custom. For instance, let's do it like 137, right? And we scale that in 137 times more. Another thing that needs to be mentioned here is that here we have the anchor point, and basically it allows us to understand, should we scale from the center, and now we scale from center, or we can scale from top left or just top center. Let's do it from top left and scale it to 3 times. So you can see that scaling happens from this point and goes accordingly. And if we do it in the center scaling is happening from the center, from the middle. We can also scale it proportionally by changing the width or height. And again, you can see that we're changing the proportions and we see how it's scaling. Like basically we're changing the value of the width and we see what is the scaling ratio basically. When should we use scaling like that? As I mentioned, basically it's in the cases when you want to scale in a particular number and not just visually try something like this looks good, this looks bad, what is better, let's make it like that. Usually you need a particular value because everything should be proportional, and then you use scaling. Also, scaling is helpful when you have, for instance, a frame, and if you add some objects in the frame, like that. If I want to scale frame in the same way I just did with this group, it will not work like that. It will scale the frame, but it will not scale the objects inside the frame. And if I do it with K, I can scale it proportionally. So you can see that if you want to scale a frame, it's better to use K or scaling feature. That's all for scale, and see you in the next videos.